Hey y'all, okay, we are still working on this big bag of potatoes. So I am going to make a big pot, and I mean a big pot, of a good loaded cheesy potato soup. Okay, so let's get going with it and I'll tell y'all a little bit more about it. So in my pot here, I have already cooked. So I cleaned out my freezer and my fridge. Y'all know I was in the middle of doing that, and I had all of this stuff. So I'm making this with things that I have, and this is one of those things I never really make it the same twice, but there are several things that I always kind of do the same way. And this right here, this first step is one of them. But anyway, I had half of a ham steak that I had popped in the freezer, so I fried that up, and I had some bacon, so I fried that up. I've already got that done. I left the little bit of bacon grease here in my pot. So the first thing we're going to do is put in some onion, some celery, and some carrots, okay? Now, I always do this step, no matter how I make it, because this is where you get a lot of your good flavor at. And my carrots, y'all, I took my cheese grater and grated them up instead of dicing them up because it's just much easier. You know, dicing up little bitty small pieces of carrot is not that easy. And so I just go ahead and grate them up, and that way they get good and done, because I don't want to bite into a crunchy carrot in my soup, okay? So onions, celery, and carrots, and I'm just going to let that cook around here in our bacon grease for just a minute, and then I'll come back and we'll throw our potatoes in. But y'all, I had all of this stuff already, so this is just a different way that I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be sharing some of this. That's why I said I'm making a lot. So, but we want to make sure it's good, okay? So just let me cook this for just a second. I'll move this over here a little bit closer so y'all would be able to see it. But y'all, it smells so good. I love a good potato soup, so this is gonna be perfect. And if y'all notice, somebody's over in the chair tonight. She hasn't run off yet. So get a look at her, because you never know when she's going to decide to jump down. Anyway, let me let this cook, and I'll come back. Okay, y'all, I let our vegetables cook down for just about 5 minutes. Now we are going to put all of these potatoes in. These are the rest of those new potatoes y'all know that I had. And I will tell y'all what I noticed whenever I made the potato salad with these. These really hold their texture really, really well. Kind of like the red potatoes that you buy in a store. So these are a very waxy potato, or this kind is. I don't know if there are different new potatoes or what, but these really held their shape and texture really good. So what we're going to do, because I like my potato soup to be, I like for it to be creamy, and I also like pieces of potato in it. Normally, whenever I make my potato soup, if I were going to the store and I was buying all the stuff to make it, I would do 2 different kinds of potatoes. I would do the little small red potatoes so I could have the chunks or pieces of potato in the soup, and then I would do some baking potatoes that I would bake and mash up and put in there. But we'll do that this winter. I'll kind of show you that, but we're going to do it a different way with this, and we're going to, after they boil for a little bit, we're going to get some of them out and just mash them up. And that will kind of help thicken your soup, and it will also just give it a good flavor, okay? So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to let these cook around in there with the vegetables. Let's go ahead and we'll season them up a little bit, okay? So we have our potatoes in there, and then one seasoning that I love to use in mine, y'all know, some Creole, of course. So I'm just going to sprinkle quite a bit, because this is going to be a big pot of soup, y'all. Okay, and we're going to do some salt and pepper. Let's see. And we can always taste the pepper. Okay. And some garlic powder. Now, if you want to use your minced garlic or fresh garlic, you can. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this in. Just like that. Okay. And I'm just going to let this cook for just a second, and then we're going to put in our chicken broth. Now, normally I add milk into my potato soup, but I don't have any, and I wasn't going to go to the store. So we're just going to use extra chicken broth, and I do have some heavy cream, which I always use heavy cream anyway, but we're just going to have to use a little bit more and make it work with the chicken broth. But of course, if you have milk, you always want to add a little bit of that in. I had some, but it went out of date. I don't buy milk very much because we don't use it, and I end up having to throw it out. Like I had to throw that half of that bottle out that I had. So I normally just buy heavy cream. If y'all have ever noticed, heavy cream will keep the expiration date is always much longer than your milk. Like it will almost keep for up to a month or even longer after you buy it, whereas your milk, you got about, what, 7 to 15 days, if that, depending on when you get it. So that's why I normally just keep the heavy cream. It's a little bit more expensive, but at least we get to use it, and I don't, normally have to throw it out, because we just don't ever use or drink milk that much. So we're just going to make it work with our chicken broth. But I'm just going to let these cook here. Y'all, they smell so good. You can see just all of that in there. And then I'll come back and we're going to add our chicken broth and let these boil up for a minute. Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and start adding our broth. I have 2 cups here that I made up because I knew I wasn't going to have enough in my other jug over here. So that's 2 cups. And then I have this one here, which is 4 cups. So let's get it in there. And that way, if I do have some of this left, I can just pop this in the fridge. So it's coming out awful slow. Hang on a second. There we go. Now we got it. So like I said, I'm going to use extra of this since I don't have any milk, okay? So let's see. Okay, so 6 cups of broth, but of course, like I said, I'm making a lot, so you probably are not gonna need this much. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add in some heavy cream. Normally I would wait, or sometimes I wait until the end, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in and let them boil in this. And I don't know how much I have ended up, y'all, with 2 containers here open. So I need to use this. And so I'm thinking about a cup and a half of that. Let's mix this around. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. All right, I'm just gonna let this boil, y'all. I'm gonna move this over here to my big burner. I have it on, it's about to burn my arm over here. And we're just gonna let this cook until those potatoes start to get soft, and I'll come back and we're gonna add our other stuff. Okay, y'all, I have had our potatoes boiling for about 10 to 12 minutes. Now, I don't have them as soft yet as I want them, but the thing is, they're going to continue to cook as we melt our cheese and we kind of add our other ingredients. So you don't want them to cook all the way till you have them the exact softness that you want. You know what I mean? So let me show this to y'all. Oh, it looks good, smells good, y'all. Look at this. I love that color in there. It smells good. I think this is going to be really good. All right, so now what we're going to do, I am going to get out some of our potatoes. Now, I do this a few different ways, like I said, but since I'm making a lot this time, I think this will be the better way. And I am getting that all over me. It'll be okay. There's a lot of potatoes in here, y'all, so we're going to get out maybe half or a little bit under half. Let's see. Let's do 1 more scoopful, and I think that'll be enough. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we still have a lot of pieces left in there. See all these? Now what I'm going to do, now there's easier ways you can do this. You can use a potato masher if you want to. I would just rather wash up a fork than a potato masher. So I am just going to take my fork, y'all, and just mash them like this, okay? Now it's hot, so it'll take me a minute. I'm not going to make y'all sit here and suffer through watching me do all this, but I'm just going to go around and mash these. Now, like I said, if I'm making a smaller amount, sometimes I'll just use my spoon in the pan and kind of mash a little bit, or you can put your potato masher in your pan. Do it that way. Some people have those little bitty blenders, you know, that you put in there. This is just the way I'm choosing to do it. If you have an easier way that you want to do it, then please do it that way, okay? I'm just going to go this route with it. Just mash these up. This will help thicken up the soup, and I love it this way. I love for it to be a little bit thick with the soft potato, but also still have the pieces of potato in it. And now I have my cornstarch out over here because I don't add flour to mine. If I do want to thicken it up just a little bit, I will do a little cornstarch slurry. And so I will wait until I get all of this in there and see how thick it is, and then I'll decide if I want to do that. But let me finish mashing these up, y'all. I want them to be really good and mashed up, and then I'll come back, okay? Okay, y'all, I'm going to put our mashed up potatoes back in here. Just plop them down in there. Just be careful, don't splash it out on you. Let's get that in there. Like I said, this is going to really thicken it up. And get that out of the way. Okay. Now let's mix all that around. Let me bring y'all up here. You can see it's still pretty thin, so we may do our little cornstarch, and that's okay. All right, let's go ahead and start adding in our cheeses and our other stuff. So tonight I'm doing Velveeta. Sometimes I do sharp cheddar, Colby Jack, all that. I don't have a certain kind. It's just always about what I have. So if you don't like Velveeta, I know a lot of people don't. Use whatever kind of cheese you want. So I'm doing Velveeta, and I had a little bit of cream cheese in the fridge I need to use. So tonight I am popping that in there. That's about 4 ounces of cream cheese, and the Velveeta, this is about half of a big box, okay? But you do whatever kind of cheese you want. I like for mine to be good and cheesy. So we're putting all this in there, y'all. Let me turn it down. We don't want our cheese to stick. But sometimes I do, like I said, the cheddar. I just do all different kinds, y'all. And it's always good, whichever kind you want to use. Okay. Got that. And one other thing that I like to add is some sour cream. And let's see, I'm going to use my spoon here so we can tell a little bit more about how much we do. So let's see, that is probably about half a cup. Let's go on and do a little bit more. All right. Let's say about 3/4 of a cup. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to wait, let all this get mixed up really good, and then we'll see about our cornstarch. We're probably going to have to add in about a tablespoon or do a little slurry over here in our bowl. I have that ready to go. But we'll wait a minute and we'll let this kind of get all melted up, and then we'll do that, okay? This is a big pot of soup, y'all. I wish y'all could come have some with us. This is one soup that Braden does love. He likes potato soup and he likes chicken noodle soup. And aside from that, that's it. He does not eat any other kind of soup, but he does love this. Okay, I'm just going to let our cheese get melted. I have it turned way down low. I'm going to just let all that get good and going together, and I'll come back. And the only other thing we have left to add, y'all, is we're going to add in a little bit of this, a little bit of parsley, and then, like I said, maybe do our cornstarch, and that'll be it. Okay, y'all, we're going to put in a little cornstarch slurry. So what I did here, y'all, I put in about a tablespoon of cornstarch with just a little bit of cold water. And that's all you have to do. Just mix it around. I'm sure most of you know, but just want to tell you in case you don't. Mix it around really good and then put it in there. And then I will usually kind of do like that to get the rest of it out. Mix it in really good. And that will help thicken up whatever you're trying to thicken up. I usually go that route instead of doing flour, but if you want to do flour, you can. And then here in just a few minutes, this will be a thicker texture, and if we need to add more, we'll add more. And our soup is almost done. The only thing we need to add now are some parsley flakes. I'm gonna do quite a bit because this is a big pot, about a tablespoon or so. And then I'm going to put some of our meat in here. Now I'm gonna keep some of this out for garnish, especially some of the bacon. But let's see. Let's put in about that much. We'll keep out some of the ham to put on top. We'll leave out about that much. Let me wipe my hand off, y'all. And we're just gonna mix this around. Now sometimes I will add like ham or bacon to it. Sometimes I do smoked sausage. Y'all, there's so many different ways you can make stuff like this. And I promise you, it will be good. And don't worry, that parsley is going to go on down in there and you won't even really know it's in there. I'm going to just let this cook, y'all, for just a few more minutes. It's getting thicker, I can already tell. And when I come back, I'm going to fix this up a little bowl, y'all. I hadn't had potato soup in a long time. I know it's not really the season for it, but it's gonna be good either way. All right, I'll be back, y'all. Okay, y'all, let's bowl up some of this soup. Goodness, it smells amazing, and I can't wait to get some. Look at this, y'all. I know it's hard to see from over there, but it's good. It's thick. It has the good chunky potatoes in it. It's perfect. Let's see. Now remember, it's all about how thick or chunky you want your potatoes. You can do it however you want to do, okay? Set that down. All right, let me wipe this off. Y'all know I can't stand that. We've got to get that off. All right, see that, y'all? All right, now we are going to put some cheese on top. Now this is just my regular shredded cheese like I always do. Let me turn that off. I'm gonna put a little bit of this ham and bacon on top. Okay. And I have a green onion here that I forgot to cut up. So we're gonna cut it up now. So a little bit of this on top. Now if you want to do some more sour cream, you can. I usually don't. I just like to put the sour cream in whenever I'm cooking it, and then I don't usually add any more, but you certainly can. Look at this, y'all. Does that not look good? Now I know I did a little bit of extra stuff tonight because like I said, I am sharing this, and anytime I am making food for somebody else or I know other people are going to be eating it, I go all out. I want it to be the best. So you can do it a little bit easier, you know, as far as mashing the potatoes and kind of doing this and that. But, and you can always cut this recipe in half because I know I made a lot. This is a lot of potato soup. But I think you'll love the ingredients. Let me find a chunky potato. But y'all see how it still has like the chunks in it? It's a lot thicker than it looks. See that? That is good. That flavor is delicious. I think it's great without using the milk. I think it's great just doing the chicken broth and the heavy cream. And the sour cream helped too, make it a little creamy. Mm. That is good. This might be one of my favorite potato soup flavors that I have made yet, y'all. Using that Velveeta. I know y'all don't want to hear that. Some of you don't. But it is good. It has a great flavor. I'm happy with this. Very happy with it. Y'all try it. You'll love it. There's no way you couldn't. Braden's gonna love this. Okay, y'all. I've been on here too long messing with this potato soup, but the good news is all the potatoes are done now, and I'm not buying any more for a while. We have eat our weight in the potatoes around here lately. But anyway, I was glad to get them, and I'm going to enjoy this, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.